I might come round to them, but I never think, I'm sick of seeing these limpets. Whereas Octopus, crawling about, opening jam jars and that.
You'd never see them though, they're really rare.
Well,
we get 2 or 3 caught a year, it's quite amazing.
Do we need them?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we'll just have to keep them then.
I love that Carl can confuse a scientist.
Yeah. Yeah, because all systems of logic break down.
I know, even the scientist was going, well, get rid of limpets.
Yeah. Who was that guy?
I think his name was Chris.
And where was he from?
In a place called Megavissi, where I went one year.
Megavissi.
And he's a scientist, is he?
I think he's got a fish shop or something like that.
He's got a fish shop?
No, he doesn't.
Well, like an aquarium type place.
Oh, right.
So
a fish shop. A fish and chip shop.
It wouldn't be past him that he a winkle store. He's got a winkle store at Poole Harbour.
Yeah, that's an expert.
Oh dear.
But what have you learnt from that then?
Well, that we don't know whether they're deaf or not because the bloke in the chip shop couldn't confirm it. They eat their own legs. Think of that.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
They eat their own legs?
Eat their own legs if they get hungry.
Right.
And they grow back, don't they?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
If you eat one, it'll grow back.
Yeah.
And you can put them in little jars and that. If you wanted to.
Yeah.
It's just a bit weird, isn't it? It's like no, but people have a go about being cruel to animals and that. But what he was saying there is, right, what they've watched an octopus do. They've got hold of a crab, right? So that'll be being stressed out because it's out of the water.
Yeah.
They've then stressed it out even more by putting it in a jar,
right?
Which he didn't like. And then an octopus is crawling about on the jar.
Yeah.
And the crab knows that the octopus wants to eat it. Right?
Yeah.
So then it's having more frets.
Yeah.
Because of that. And then they let the octopus eat it.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty.
Do we need crabs?
Do them next week, yeah.
Well, I want to sort out snails first.
Right. Right. What's your pitch with snails? What do you know about snails?
I know that bats eat them. They can sleep for 13 years.
Right.
Can you believe that?
Okay. He said to me, snails can sleep for 13 years. And I went, right. He went, thing is though, if it was a scientist and he was looking at it and he put it in a quiet place, it might well doze off. He said it wouldn't be the same if it lived on the streets.
I'm sort of on a bit of a mission to find out, we've got a lot of animals and insects in the world and stuff. Yeah. Do we need them all?
It still amuses me.
So we've found out we've got to keep jellyfish. We've done octopus. She said we've got to keep them. This week, snails.
Do we need them?
Just doing some research, right? I'm sort of working my way through different creatures and insects and stuff that's on the planet.
Yeah.
Right? And finding out if we need them or not. Right?
Yeah.
Do you know much about snails?
Sea snails?
Well, yeah.
Snails in general. Don't know much about snails, land snails. Not a bit about sea snails, like whelks, top shells, that sort of thing.
Would you say they're important?
What sort of sense do you mean by important?
Say if we had to sort of get rid of some animals and insects and that because we're running out of room.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because I'll tell you what I know about some snails. I don't know if this applies to sea snails as well. I mean, I called you today because a lot of other places are shut.
Yeah.
Right? So, I know they like to eat stamps, apparently. The glue on stamps. They love it. Right?
Right.
Apparently a lot of letters and stuff aren't getting to where they're meant to be getting because snails are crawling into letterboxes and eating the stamps. That obviously doesn't apply to the sea ones, but that's a problem they're causing.
All right.
Were you aware of that?
No, I didn't know that.
Bet you're glad you're onto the phone today. Right? They love beer.
Beer, yeah, who doesn't?
And also, I don't know if this is right, but I heard that they sleep for 13 years, or can do.
Right, I wouldn't know if they can sleep for 13 years or not. But I think sea snails are pretty important. Yeah, they do quite a good job in the sea. They graze on algae, and they provide food for other animals. I mean, you can say that about any fish, or any animal. Why do they exist?
Would you be upset if someone said we're getting rid of them?
Oh yeah.
You would be.
They're an animal, I wouldn't.
Forget being like favouritism and all that I get for them, right? There'll be other things knocking around you can sort of spend your time looking after. You'll still have a job, don't be worrying about that, because I'm not going to get rid of all the fish. Jellyfish need looking after, so you're safe.
Yeah.
But do we need them? Come on, there's loads of people saying, come on, we've got to move on through the animals, and you're holding them up saying, well, I want to keep them.
Well, who's saying we need to... That just sounds a bit crazy to me.
Just imagine. Do you know what I mean? And they would come to you because you work in an aquarium, so they'd be asking for your advice.
Right.
And you're slowing it down.
Well, they asked for my advice and I'm giving it to them, so, that's what I think, anyway.
Yeah, but snails, like I say, they drink beer and that, What did they do apart from some food for a whelk?
They were around, their descendants around a lot longer than we have been.
Yeah, they've been around a long time, but what have they done?
Well, they've survived that long, so they must be doing something pretty good.
Well, apparently they sleep for 13 years, so really, even though they've been around for ages...
I don't think that sounds a bit... I don't think they sleep for 13 years.
Not all of them, just the tired ones. So, snails, do we need them?
Well, yeah, I just think they've got it's not for us to say do we need them or not, we can't.
So you think we should keep them?
Yeah, definitely.
Carl, I'm proud of you. That was
getting really quite annoying.
I know. What did he think he was doing? What? I don't know what you tell these people. I mean, you don't get their permission to play this out, do you? You just don't tell
the
them.
thing is, right, I sort of told him what it was about, but we won't say who he is or where he works, because it doesn't matter. I just needed to speak to someone who knows.
I know the fact that you were trying to get an answer out of him by suggesting that he would be safe, because he could look after jellyfish if he gave the okay to destroy snails.
He was getting livid, you could tell.
Oh, God. Brilliant. So he's been around a long time, but what have they done?
Right, so we're looking into animals that we get rid of. I've spoken to someone about snails, I spoke to someone about jellyfish, and that, and looking at cockroaches today.
Right, now who's the expert?
It's a woman called Jessica Marshall.
Right.
Does she know that you're going to play this on the radio?
Well, I called up, right, in the week and said, can I talk to someone about cockroaches? And she was like, is that Carl?
She knows who you are.
Yeah.
Right, so she already knows maybe your angle, your approach.
Yeah, she was up for it.
She's an expert, she's just not just some random person.
No, she works in a museum, a good museum. I said I'd give it a plug. It's the one near Knightsbridge. It's got dinosaurs and that in it. It's worth seeing.
And Natural History Museum?
Yeah. So,
Not sure. He's not sure.
This is what happened. Now, what I'll do, I'll tell you as much as I know, and then you can fill me in if I'm right or wrong, and then at the end of it, we'll get to the bottom of whether we need them or not.
Okay.
All right. So, first of all, the first thing that I found out is that they have 18 knees.
That's not exactly possible. They're insects, so they have 6 legs.
Yeah.
And a knee is usually the junction between femur and tibia. That's sort of classic human knees and every other animal knee. So with 6 legs, you can only have 6 knees.
Could somebody sort of got mistaken for seeing one that was a bit double jointed?
I think you're grasping at straws or something.
All right. Well, we might have to come back to that one then.
Okay.
They can hold the breath for 40 minutes.
Well, they don't do that because they don't breathe in the same way as us. They breathe through little spiracles, holes down the side of the body, so... no, they're not a very apt simile because the method of breathing is so different.
What do you mean?
Because insects have a totally different system. They don't have lungs in the way that we do, and just breathing through one part of the body. They're actually breathing through every segment of the body all of the time.
So even though they've got their mouth shut, they might be able to slide.
Nothing to do with breathing.
So
only feeding.
So you see, maybe that's where someone's gone wrong. Someone's got hold of one and sort of taped its mouth up or something, and got bored after 40 minutes and said, "Well, we'll call it right."
Pretty unkind thing to do to an insect, even to a cockroach.
Yeah, but it's all.
You can't do that.
Yeah, but.
No. Pretty unkind thing to do anything, even a cockroach.
Something else I found out.
Yeah.
They can live for a week without an head.
Well, that's true if they don't bleed to death in the process.
But the weird thing is, when I told you that they had 18 knees, you seemed a bit sort of like, don't talk ridiculous. But then we're talking about an animal that can live without an head. So there's a little bit of truth in that one, yeah?
Yes.
Why, when it was invented, has it got that facility? Say if someone said to humans, we could do that with humans, and, you know, if you lose your head in some accident, it gives you a bit of time to sort of go back to your family and maybe write them a note. You won't be able to have a chat, but write them a note saying, it was my own fault, and it was nice knowing you.
Well, that would be a useful facility, I agree, but cockroaches are great survivors. I mean, they've been around for over 300 million years. They're one of the most primitive insects.
All right. Well, I've also... is it true that they do a lot of resting? Apparently they can sort of rest for 75% of the time.
Rest?
Yeah, they just sit about doing nothing.
It's probably true of a vast proportion of the world's fauna. Well,
I mean, maybe the 25% that they are working, they're really giving it some, so it might make up.
They're probably searching out food, and they can slow down considerably. You can chill insects in the fridge, and they'll become very, very quiet. You might think they're dead.
Yeah, but I'm sure, you know, if we were sat in a fridge, you know, we'd go a bit quiet, wouldn't we? You know.
Well, you might not know much about it, of course.
Yeah, but...
Not quite reading the right sources.
Well, I've been using the internet.
I'm sure there are many useful sources that you could find there, but some of those seem to have been a little misleading to you.
So you don't agree with a lot of what I've told you there?
No.
So, cockroaches, can we get rid of them?
No.
So we're keeping them then?
I would say so, yeah.
I think we should get her on more often, because she sounds like she'd be a bit of an ally, really. Because she knew immediately that you were talking nonsense. She even said, I think you should be more concerned about your sources, which I've been trying to tell you for a year. Right? The fact, I mean 18 knees, where did you get that from?
It's on the internet.
They can hold their breath for 40 minutes. I mean, I don't know what you read and take on.
Mad world, don't it?